Hi, my name is Abby Diary, New York Times bestselling author of The Girl with a Louding Voice. I'm so excited to be doing this video. I love to give back. I love sharing knowledge. I love teaching. I love helping people master the art of writing special stories or special books. And I believe we all have something special that we want to share with the world. So thinking about this video and wondering what can I share today, I thought to start with something that I dealt with and struggled with while I was trying to write a number of my books, especially my breakthrough novel, The Girl with a Louding Voice, and which is trying to find the time to write. And not just the time to write, it's actually trying to figure out making the best use of whatever time that I found in the day to capturing my talents onto paper, putting words that really matter. And so I put together this slide to share with you 7 tips for you, the professional in your life or yourself, in writing that book that can make a difference. To write the novel or the book that you want to write, the story from your heart around the demands of life, the kids, the pets, the job, the hobbies, the other hobbies that matter. Let's dive in. Tip number 1, embrace a realistic writing routine. And this is important. We're all different. We have different number of kids. Some people have more than one job. Some people have more than 1 or 2 things that demand for their time. So try to understand yourself, what your day-to-day looks like, what your routine looks like. And out of that, try to find a routine that works for you. Now, I'm not the best when it comes to creating routines. Actually, I do very badly with it. But I learned to find what works for me. And so I'll say to you that, acknowledge that the demands of a professional life as they stand, but around that, try to carve a time that works for you. So for me, when I was working 9 to 5 in my job, we often had a lunch break, as many of us do. And then I was going into the office between 12 and 1 p.m. And so what I'll do is, instead of stepping out to lunch and joining the queue in Costa or in Pret a Manger, I would grab a sandwich on my way into the office so that when it's 12 noon, I would not have to step out to join the queue, but I'll spend the time writing my book. And I tell you, that 1 hour used to make such a difference. Now, if you are the kind of person that loves to socialize, that's absolutely fine. Go out and socialize with your colleagues during lunch. But how about taking the time after work? So the office would often be empty around about 5 o'clock. So once the office was empty for me at that time, I would sit down and write between 5 and 7. But of course, I'll make sure that the kids at home had somebody watching them. So find out what works for you. Maybe sit down and take a note of what your day looks like. And then find pockets of time in your day and see if you can fit your writing in. So this might require sacrificing a few nights out, sacrificing your lunch break, sacrificing an afternoon when you're supposed to be watching football. I don't know. But often the sacrifice is absolutely worth it. It's worth it when you hold your beloved story, your beloved book in your hands. So please set aside that dedicated time, even if it's just for a short period. Remember this, that consistency is key. Doing something every day is better than doing nothing at all. Tip number 2, break it down into manageable goals. See your book as a house that you want to build, right? No one built a house in a day, unless you're building a house. Maybe you're playing a game. My kids love to play games, and they come up with houses that are built in a few hours. That's not a real house. In real life, your writing, your story, your book see it as a house that you need to build. And that takes time. It takes understanding what the foundation would look like. It takes understanding what the roof would look like, what the windows, what paint to use. So many things need to go into this. And so does your book. Your book requires different elements, who the characters are, what the setting is, what the time is, what the point of view would look like. All these things take time to break them into smaller, achievable goals. And how do you do that? By having a sensible, concise. How do you do that? By having a wonderful outline. How do you do that? By having an outline that works for you. In another video, I'll do my best to share with you my outline. How do you do that? By creating an outline that is able to capture all these different parts of your story. Your outline should have what your story is about. It should have who your characters are. It should also have, ideally, a breakdown of what each chapter would cover. Now, if you do that, you'll be able to focus on writing a number of words or completing a chapter each time. If you want to write, say, a chapter, and a chapter is roughly, 3,000 words for your story or your book, why don't you focus on that time that you're sitting down to write during your lunch break, that you write 300 words. And if you do that within 3 days, you'd have a chapter complete. So try to do that. Now, celebrate each milestone. This is important. It helps you to stay motivated. I love ice cream and I love chocolates. So each time I complete a chapter, I would go out and buy myself an ice cream. And so find out a way to motivate yourself to celebrate your milestone. And, don't sweat it when you don't hit a milestone. It's fine. It's a book. You will pick it back up from where you left it and you carry on. What's important is consistency. Remember this, 1,000-word book started with 1 word. Number 3, prioritize self-care and balance. Don't beat yourself up. I used to really be hard on myself. For instance, if I've not been able to complete a book at a certain time, I would feel very bad. Or if I wasn't able to write in a certain day. Now that began to affect my work-life balance, my personal life, and I began to find writing quite challenging and a chore. You see, writing should come from the depth of your soul. It should be a love. It should be a love relationship between yourself and your words. And so I would say that embrace each writing time, but also balance your work, your personal life, and your self-care. Try to find a nice balance. When you need to go out and go to the gym and get exercise, do that. When you need to sleep, please sleep. When you need to eat, right? Find a way to take care of yourself. Because if you do that, it would enhance your creativity and your overall well-being. Number 4, find inspiration in your busy life. I often get asked, Abby, how do you find inspiration? There's some stories that you carry around with you from the time you were born. For instance, for me, I'll say that was the girl with the louding voice. But there have been other stories that I've worked on that I've not always carried them with me. It might just be sitting on the train, on the tube, as we call it in the UK. You're sitting on the tube and you see somebody fiddling with his tie, right? I am the kind of person that will begin to wonder to myself, why is he fiddling with his tie? Is he having issues in his life? Does he not like the tie? Was the tie a gift? From looking at that man, a story can form. So within your professional life, use your professional experiences and observations as inspiration for your book. Do not write about your boss and risk getting fired. Now, I'm not asking you to do that. But, watch people, watch how they react, watch how they behave, and ask what if questions around them. What if the man sitting on the train opposite me is a serial killer, for instance? Create a story from that. And this would infuse your writing with authenticity and depth, because these are things and people that you see day to day. Be very observant and take notes as you journey through your day. Number 5, join writing communities or support groups. This is so critical. Writing is such a solitary exercise. You could be writing a story or a novel or a book for years and nobody gets to see it. And in doing that, sometimes you get bogged down. You're not sure if it's working. You're not sure if it even makes sense. You want some feedback. Connect with fellow writers who understand the demands of a busy professional life. Join writing communities, attend workshops, seek writing groups or accountability partners, or hire a writing coach. Now, that is a thing, and I am one. So if you're looking for one, feel free to have a chat with me. But it's important that you surround yourself with like-minded individuals who understand what this is. When I was doing my master's in creative writing, it was wonderful to be surrounded by friends and colleagues who all had jobs and would get on a call, a video call, a Zoom call once in 2 weeks and would give feedback to our work. And that really helped me to stay committed. It helped me to have some form of accountability. So try to do that. Number 6, I love this. Number 6, I love this. Make use of technology and tools. Now, I am a serial texter. I love texting. And I've turned my love for texting into opportunities for me to write my stories. Let me tell you what I mean. So say I am working on a novel and there's a scene whereby somebody wants to kill somebody. I promise you, I'm not obsessed with killing, but let's assume that there's somebody that wants to kill someone and I haven't quite figured out how the murder would happen. So I'm getting on my way to work and I sit on the train and suddenly it hits me that the murder should happen with a gun that the character finds on the bed. But I'm sitting on the train. I don't have my laptop with me. I can't write. What do? I pick up my phone and I text myself, my husband, my friends, and I just literally write exactly what it is that's going to happen in the scene. Now, my friends and family are used to me now, so they totally ignore me. So if my husband gets a text that says she's going to die at 6 p.m. tonight, he knows I'm not talking about a real person. So use that. Use the tools you have. Use voice notes. Send yourself voice notes. You're doing the dishes at night, an idea comes to mind, pick up your phone, send yourself a voice note. Leverage technology, leverage writing tools that you have to optimize your writing process. You can also use productivity apps, software, dictation tools. I talked about that, voice notes, to maximize your writing time. You don't have to physically sit down with a laptop to write before you can say you're writing. You can write with your words through your voice, speaking to yourself or to somebody else. These tools help you to streamline your workflow and help make writing more efficient. Number 7, and I'm repeating this a bit because it's important. Practice self-compassion and patience. You see, writing a book is a significant undertaking, especially with a busy professional life. So be kind to yourself. Embrace patience throughout the process. Remember this, progress is progress, no matter how small. One word becomes 1,000 words. So celebrate your achievements and trust in your ability to complete your first book. When you get to the end of your book, it's important for you to type these 2 words, the end. I always do that. Why? Because it signifies an achievement. It signifies the end of a long, long process. It signifies the need to celebrate and rejoice. And so these are the 7 tips that I've shared with you today. I hope you find them useful. If you'd like to hear more from me, please leave a note, leave a comment, and let me know your feedback. This is available as a free PDF from my website, www.abidariauthor.com, or from wherever it is that you're reaching out to me. Thank you, and I look forward to hearing from you. Have a wonderful, louding writing life.
Let me remind you that the most important story that you can ever tell is the story you tell yourself first and the story you tell others. And so this weekend, let us hear those stories. Let's connect with those stories and let's tell those stories with not just any kind of voice, but with a loud voice. Thank you very much.